Ya recibiste the notification urgente? Because if your adult major or tienes a family that covers the pension of the bienestar, look what I'm going to tell you in the next few minutes can be very important for you to not lose your access to medical, medications and security of life completely gratis. Get over, because this affects you directly and you don't want to miss any detail. We're talking about the new calendar of credentialisation for the Tarjeta Salud of IMSS Bienestar and these factors, requirements and datas that very few people know. Ganós todavia. Así que respira, ponte comfortable or comfortable, and one paso pas para que quede total clarissimo. Antes de continue, se this type of information to services or crees you can lipwood severe alguien más, te pido de favour that you lead like to this video and that you subscribe to the channel if you're todavia not less done. Aqui compartimos information actualizada and verified para que tu and your family estem sempre bien informed. Ya con eso dicho, vamos directo al tema, porque hay mucho to explain. Primero, lo primero. The que se trata this credential of salud, the IMSS Bienestar? Mira, esta tarjeta is a document official that lets the adults mayores beneficiaries of the program Pension for the Bienestar access to a series of services of health completely gratis. We're talking about attention medical, medications sin cost, and también a US Seguro de Vida. See, escuchaste bien, a US Seguro de Vida that forms part of the benefits of the program. But to put access to all that, it's necessary to have this credential updated and registered correctly in the system. Por eso, this process of credentialisation is so important, and por eso ISAP is doing so much roid with this tema idea in June. Alright Vin, quando initiates this calendar? The calendar of credentialisation ranks from the 15th to the 27th of June of 2026, so quasi 2 semanas in which the adults mayores have to accede to the modules of registration to realise this training. And here comes something very important that you must know. The process is organised by order alphabetico, second the first letter of the del. Apellido. This means that not everyone have to go the same day or the same week. Depending on how your name starts, you're allocated a specific period within that calendar. This is to avoid crowds, and so the process is more organised and comfortable for everyone. So the first thing you have to do is identify well what the first letter of your last name is to know what dates you have to attend. But stop, why is it so urgent to do this transaction? Because this credentialisation is not optional. It's a requisite fundamental for the beneficiary to see receiving the services of salud to which they have direct. If you don't create the register in the Fechas corresponding, exists the risk of getting fora out of the padron of beneficiaries' actives, which could affect not only the access to attention medical and the medications gratuitous, sino the continuity of the pension. And no one wants that. No one wants that for not doing a tramit at time, se interrupts a benefit that can tanto eso necesita. Por eso is tan important to diffuse this information and assure yourself that the adults majors and their families are still well interarded. Now, let's talk about how to find the module of registration most second to your domicile, because this is one of the doubts most common that people have. The good news is there's more than 2,000 modules of registration disponible in all the pies. Yes, 2,000 modules. This means that in the great majority of the municipalities and localities of Mexico, there's at least one disponible. For localizar el que te corresponde, puedes ingresar a la página oficial de la Secretaría del Bienestar o a la página de IMSS Bienestar. Una vez ahí, hay una herramienta muy sencilla en la que solo tienes que ingresar tu código postal o el nombre de tu localidad, y el sistema te va a mostrar cuál es el módulo más cercano a tu casa, junto con la dirección y el horario de atención. Así de fácil. No necesitas andar preguntando de boca en boca, ni depender de información que a veces puede estar desactualizada o ser incorrecta. Directly in the Pagina Official, you encounter all that you need during the transmissions in vivo that SE have realised to orient to the hand-on with this tramit. SE attended many cases concrete of people they peded ayuda for finding their module. For example, the Señor Gustavo A. Madero put able to find his clinic correspondent in the City of Mexico. The Señora Concepcion también encontró the module that corresponds in his zone. The Señora Raimundo, the Señora Judith IV, the Señora Maria Eugenia IV, the Señora Maria Flores IV, and la Señora Mani Campas también pudieron localizar sus clínicas in the Ciudad de Mexico and in the state of Mexico. Algunas of the centres that appeared were the Centre of Health Dr. Anastasio Garza Rios, the Hospital Pediatric Perol Villo, the Centre of Health Soledad Orozco de Avila Camacho, the Centre of Health Colony Maria Isabel, the Centre of Health Heroes of Granaditas, the Central Civico New Aragon, and a unit of Soledad in Tecamac de Felipe Villanova in the state of Mexico. Cada person has assigned a module specific, según su domicilio, and por eso it's so important that you use the official tool to find the one that corresponds to you in particular. Now, I want to stop on something very important because it's caused a lot of confusion and a lot of questions. There are some people who believe that this target of health from IMSS Bienestar is the same as the banking card from the Bank of the Bienestar, which is used to collect the pension. And no, they're two completely different things. Listen to me carefully because this is key. The card from the Bank of the Bienestar is a totally different thing. Bancaria is the one that the adult major has to go to the cashier or the sucursal to retrieve the money from their pension bimestral. That target has to do with the cobring of the resource economic. In contrast, the credential of salute of IMSS Bienestar is a document of identification within the system of salute that allows the beneficiary to receive medical treatment, medications, and the security life. These are two benefits distinct that form part of the same program, but that function of men are independent. Having one doesn't mean you get the other. Que ya tienes la otra. Por eso es tan importante hacer este proceso de credencialización, aunque ya SAA cuente con la tarjeta bancaria. Esto lo aclaran durante las transmisiones ante las dudas de varias personas, entre ellas la señora Cecilia Rebecca, el señor Alfredo, la señora Betty, y la señora Ana Rosa, que llamó desde Monterrey. Muchas personas en distintas partes del país tenían esta confusión y es completely entendible porque a veces la comunicación oficial no llega de forma clara to all the rincones. Por razón, eso es tan valioso que existan espacios como this where se can explain todo with calm and con palabras sencillas. A blending of regions of the past, también is important to mention that not all the estates have modules disponible in this moment. Specifically, the estates of Chihuahua, Coahuila, Nuevo León and Durango not count with modules habilitated for the moment. Eso se deve a questions of coordination local entre the authorities statals and federals. Si tú vives in alguno of these estates, tienes you and family up there, it's important that you stays pendant of the announcements officials because they're suspected that in some moments se habilitan modules también in those entities. Mientras time, if your family lives in one of those estates and doesn't find module disponible in the buscador or the page official, no need to be worried about in this moment. Simply have to maintain informed for when CN announces the calendar corresponding for esa region. Alright then, we're going to talk about something that puts even more context to everything that estamos viviendo este mes de junio, porque results that it's not just one trámite that's active in this moment, son cuatro calendarios distintos that are currently running at the same time. Yeah, cuatro. First is the calendario of registration for people who haven't yet started their process of credentialisation. Second is the delivery of targets for those who have already registered in April and are still waiting to receive their credential physical. third is the process of credentialisation propriamente. Dicho, which includes a quienes SA register now in June. And quarter is the proximal calendar of payments of the pension, which also comes in these fechas, all together at the same time, which means that both the beneficiaries and the modules of attention are working with lots of activity. Por eso is so important to arrive prepared with all the documentation in order in the days that correspond, según your letter of your appename, to avoid long files or contratiempos innecessary. Entonces, ¿qué documentos necesitas? Llevar al module? Aunque the requirements exact pueden vary lightly según the module or the locality, in terms of general recommendations, se recomienda llevar la identification official of the adult major, que puede ser the credential of the INI or the passport. También is important to llevar the CURP, the comprobante de domicile recent, and si se tiene, for tarjeta bancaria from the Bank of the Bienestar. In algunos modules pueden pedir algún documento adicional, así que lo ideal is consult directly in the página official or communicate to the number of dial. Atención del programa for confirming which documents are specific to your case. The most important is not to go with empty hands and to check well before leaving home so you don't waste your trip. Also, I want you to know that if the older adult can't attend by themselves to the module for questions of health or mobility, in many cases it's permitted for a family person or person of confidence to complete the transaction in their name with a simple power of attorney and the corresponding documents. But this point, también debes confirmarlo directly with the module that you corresponda, because the procedures can vary. Like a C is secure is that there are options for coordination so that no one can get left out of the process for questions of health or mobility. Now, let's go back to talking about the benefit of the security of life, because I think it's something that deserves more attention than they usually see. This security of life that comes included with the credential of health of IMS Bienestar is a protection real and concrete for the older adults. E sus familias. In caso de fallecimiento of the titular, its seguro puede represent un apoyo económico for the familiares. It's un beneficio that pocas veces se mencionan with clarity, but that forms part of the package complete al que tienen direct the beneficiaries of the program. Por eso, hacer the credentialisation not is solo un trámite bureaucratic, it's asegurarse that all these beneficiaries quedan activated and vigent for the adult major and his family. And here that we're talking about the welfare integral of the adults majors, también is important to mention that the attention medical gratuity that offers IMS Bienestar includes consults with medical general, attention especialized según disponibility in cada clinic, and salvatord medications sin cost. For many families mexicanas, the gasto in medications can be very heavy, especially when there are informations chronic, como diabetes, hypertension, or problems of the coronation that require continuous treatment. Tending access to medications gratuitous through this program? Credencial puede hacer una diferencia enorme en la economía familiar. Por eso, cada pass in this process of credentialisation whiles completely the pain. Algo más that quiero mencionarte is the importance of maintaining informed a través de fuentes oficiales in internet and in redes sociales. Hay much information that circulates and cannot siempre is correct. Hay persons that of bona fide comparten datas desactualized, and others that lamentably aprovechan the confusion of the gente for intentar engañar o estafa. Si alguien te pides dinero for ayudarte a hacer the transit for the credencial, eso es una señal de alerta immediate, because this process is completely gratuite. No debes pagar nada a nadie. Si alguien te cobra, report it. The pages that you should consult are exclusively the pages officials of the government, the ones that end in gov.mx, and the telephones of attention that appear in those pages. Never compartas tus datos personales, ni los de tu familiar, in pages that are not the official ones. También es buena idea to stay in contact with the module of your colony or locality to maintain you at the tant of any change in the hours or in the days of attention. A veces, by questions climatics, of logistics or of disponibility of personnel, the hours can adjust. Saving d'antemano how to communicate with the module that corresponds can offer you muchos dolores of cabeza. Quiero recapitulate the points most important of total what hemos hablado today para que te queden bien claras. At Calendario, credencialization for the Tarjeta Salud of IMSS Bienestar va from the 15 to the 27 of June 2026. It's organised by order alphabetical, second the first letter of the Apennine paternal. The benefits that see ashore with this credential are retention medical gratuitous, medications sin cost, and security of life. To find the module most cercane, debes ingresa la página oficial of the Bienestar or the IMSS Bienestar and use the buscador in your cody postal or locality. Esta credential is completely different a la tarjeta bancaria del Banco of the Bienestar. Los estados de Chihuahua, Coahuila, Nuevo León, and Durango no tienen modules disponibles per hour. In Junio coincide cuatro calendarios simultaneos: registro, entrega de tarjetas of abril, credentialization, and pagos to pension. El trámite is completely gratis and never debes paga a nadie por hacerlo. And si el adult mayor no puede ir rolo, verify in your module si un familia puede represento. Con toda esta información, ya tienes lo que necesitas para actuar. Tiempo, and not dejar pasar this opportunity. If you have papa, mama, abuelos, tios, or cualquier family or adult major that can be benefited by this information, please share it with them or with the people that look after them. Sometimes the difference between doing a tram at a time and missing out on a benefit important is in whether or not the information got to the right person at the right time. You can be that person that makes a difference in someone else's life. And if you still have any doubts about any point specifico, be sure to stick around. Invite you to ascribe it in the comments here below. We read all the comments, and in the measure of the possible, respond cada pregunta. Además, tus preguntas also help others that have the same doubt and that might not have started to write it. So don't stay with any doubt. Write it and we will help you. Also, it really helps a lot when you share this video. You can send it by WhatsApp, by Facebook, by whatever medium you will use. Pense about how many families are in Mexico que tienen an adult mayor and que quizás no ha visto todavía this information. Con one solo share tuya, puedes llegar a muchas personas que la necesitan, and you vale mucho. Cada vez que compartes content como este, estás contributing a que más familias mexicanas tengan access to information que les ayuda a vivir better and exercer their directions. Gracias por haber llegado hasta aquí and por haberte quedado hasta el final this video. Eso nos dice que la información fue útil for you, and eso nos da mucha satisfaction. Seguimos trabajando para traerte contenido claro, verifiable, and relevant for you and for your family. Nos vemos en el próximo video.